Whatever your view is on life, who you are, where you are from, and why you are here, one thing is certain. Your physical body and non-physical mind or consciousness is on a journey of discovery. We must never stop investigating, never stop experimenting, never stop questioning. No fear, only love. No anger, only compassion and forgiveness.
'Cause this is just the way it's meant to be. This is just the way it's meant to be. This is just the way it's meant to be. This is just the way it's meant to be.
I mean, I'm not even worthy to be bringing you information this powerful. And I hope that you pay attention to what we cover here minute by minute. Because I've had chills since last night. This just confirms everything else we've already researched. But Rockefeller study envisions future dictatorship controlled by elite, millions being killed, mandatory quarantines, checkpoints, the end of the family, everything that's in the other documents. But this dovetails with all the other Rockefeller Foundation documents about the GMO food to sterilize you and the forced vaccines and the hell we're already living in that's just going to continue to intensify until we take our governments back from these eugenics madmen. But that story is up on prisonplanet.com. We sent this to Watson. I'm glad he did a report on it today. Rockefeller study envisions future dictatorship controlled by the elite. And I want to go through a bunch of other news. I mean, here's Mark Moreno, one of the top advisors to the Republican caucus. So a lot of powerful people now paying attention, finally. Population control advocate wanted to sterilize population through food and water. That's Climate Depot. So, of course, we've been covering this for, well over 14, 15 years, but now it's finally starting to become mainstream news. The question is, will you have the courage to really do the research yourself? Because I don't want you to just sit here and hear me make these claims. When I tell you that they're saturating almost all of the major food crops with sodium fluoride, and it concentrates in the food to levels thousands of times in many cases above what's in the water. I mean, 1 part per million is devastating. 900 parts per million in powdered eggs is just off the charts. Total brain damage. And the hundreds of parts per million in many of the food crops now. And that's not just to mention the fact that these crops can also absorb pesticides and are designed to live in pesticides, and that concentrates in them, or that the DNA has been altered to also cause sterilization. I mean, they're hitting us on so many fronts. And I've got all the government reports admitting that the births, year by year, they're studying that human DNA is being damaged at a level never before seen. We are being mutated. And many of us that are able to even think and operate today, our children, their children, and the children after them are going to be deformed monsters who are literally drooling basket cases. But, of course, that will never even get to that point. They plan to exterminate all of us long before then. It's just an absolute fact. And why do we have to sit here and fight with each other? Government bureaucrats, police, military, everybody. I mean, we're all in this together. It's a tiny elite, less than 6,000 globalists in their own analysis that rule the planet. And look, I'm going to get into all the news coming up in your phone calls today. It's just, this is so horrible. They're collapsing the economy so they can take control of us through the government healthcare system and soft kill us. Read government documents where they brag, going back 60 years, how they're poisoning the water and the food. Over 60 years ago, how they would genetically engineer crops when they discovered the double helix and discovered DNA, and how they would create binary weapons and other degenerative weapons that take time and that mix with other poisons and bioagents that have been introduced, so that the average compartmentalized doctor or even specialist can't recognize it, though there are now thousands of doctors and chemists and scientists that have reverse engineered what's going on and have gone public. But you don't have to reverse engineer it. These people are so arrogant that they write policy papers, so many of them, that they're producing these policy papers and reports and white papers so fast that you could never read them all. a group of just 2 or 3 people here in my office that research this, we could never read them all. It is warehouses full of it. It is an open conspiracy against you and your family. I pray to God, I pray to my Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, every night to give me the strength and the will to be able to face this horror and to give me the strength to carry on, because I know why a lot of you don't want to look at this information and just want to comment on the YouTube videos or on message boards that I'm a liar. I know why, because it's scary. And if you admit this to yourself, you're not going to be able to go to the ball games anymore. You're not going to be able to just go out and get drunk with your friends. You're not going to be able to just, go out and enjoy yourself all the time and not spend some of your energy on resisting this. And once you face this information, once you've consciously admitted it to yourself, it will take over your life. It should take over your life. Well, I mean, what else? What else could it do? The only chance we've got of beating this scientific dictatorship, this creeping death that takes its time to incrementally enslave you, mentally, psychologically, physically, spiritually, the only way to defeat it is for the rank and file of this planet to realize that you have a choice to make on what your destiny is going to be. Win, lose, or draw, you need to choose a side. You need to spend some time this afternoon, this evening, over the weekend to close the shutters, to sit there in your easy chair, and to just sit back and think about the claims I've made here and decide on whether or not you're going to research the information we've laid out. Because this information is too important. I do not want you to simply sit here and listen to what I've said and then go out on message boards and say, Alex Jones says they want to reduce our population, and that they are poisoning us, and that they're incrementally increasing the amount of poisons and genetic manipulation that's going on. We've got to get past the artificial stigma that the control corporate media has been putting out for decades ahead of their open unveiling of planetary dictatorship. I mean, all these reports, whether it's the Rockefeller report we were reading last night that we're linked to on prisonplanet.com, or whether it's EcoScience, or whether it's Time Magazine saying only have one child, it's good for the environment, they all talk about how we need a police state to carry this out. They're now in hundreds of publications the last 6 months, in the British and U.S. and European newspapers and Australian as well, saying, you know what, the public's too stupid to agree to one-child policies and euthanasia and all this. We need a planetary police state, that's their quote over and over again, to carry out this great work. They're being public about it. In fact, I'm going to come back from break here in a minute, and I'm going to go ahead and get into this first, the whole eugenics, and just what's on my plate today. Just what's in the mainstream news today. And when I make the point that without even looking, we're not even looking for this stuff. It's just everywhere. This is their religion. This is their system. This is their methodology, their way of life, what they believe in. And even your average yuppie who's under this scientific attack knows that the received knowledge and wisdom, that their false common sense is, yeah, there's too many people, and you tell a yuppie about other foods being poisoned. Well, there are too many people. You fool. They're hitting you too. They like automatically think because they buy into it at a lower level, kind of an outer cult member, that it makes it okay. It's not okay. And the globalists are not doing this for the environment. They are destroying the environment. They are rewriting the entire genetic code of the planet right now. You need to understand that.
Thank you for listening to the China Jedi podcast.
Set aside your filters of bias.
The truth is learned, never told. Do your own research.
May the smile be with you.